Welcome back, guys, to a brand new episode of the Investigamers. I'm here with Curls and Anna. Pretty much we're gonna go over the case of David. Uh, I basically will say a former singer, former pop star, former streamer, former content creator who is a very, very disgusting human being. Like I said, we're just gonna do a recap of our previous episode. I know it's been a minute. I have done a recent live of pretty much like a little investigator, kind of go over some paranormal stuff. But I like to do these podcast episodes with the homies because was our idea, and we've just been kind of busy, but we found some time to actually to record an episode because this case is pretty much a case that the internet has discovered and crack the case on their own, and we're gonna kind of go over some stuff. But personally, I am pretty much pissed off with the whole police department, with everything else. But we'll get more into that later down in this episode. But Curls, would you like to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah. As he said, Mr. Kroll's here. Used to do a bunch of streaming and podcasting and stuff. That's kind of how we all met. And yeah, kind of like what DJ was saying, it's been pretty chaotic, very busy for all of us. We're all kind of doing different things in life. And yeah, as much as it sucks sometimes to not be able to do this regularly, regular life shit kind of gets in the way. And, we don't get to spend as much time together as we would want. But it's good to be back. Glad to be talking to you guys. And this case in particular, it was pretty dark at the time of just putting certain things together. Kind of like DJ said as well, everybody kind of figured it out pretty quickly. And there is a slight thing to you where you're like, maybe there's no way it's on the nose like that of him being a monster. But, once the body was discovered, all those things, it was just, he had to have some type of involvement in it. And obviously, the guy was just telling on himself throughout his music and made it like a performance art piece for some reason. It was super weird and bizarre. But yeah, as the times have come to now, it's very interesting to see how far we've come. And yeah, everybody involved should be ashamed of themselves, especially, people investigating, that are professionals, obviously. Granted, there has to be a lot of layers to it, I would assume, and there was probably a lot of things they had to fact check or whatever they needed to do. But the fact that this guy was just free for many months made no sense, and hopefully we can kind of dive more into it and see exactly what's been going on.
Yep, yep, yep. Anna Banana.
Hi, I'm Anna. I don't even know what to say. Um, I am okay, so I've been following this case ever since it broke. And I've definitely gained more knowledge on the criminal justice system and the charging, like how they do the charging, because I am actually a paralegal at my state's prosecutor's office. So I feel like I have a different perspective now on the process of charging and stuff like that. But I still think he's a weirdo and a creep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we will go all over that. But I will include their Twitch links in the description down below of Curls and Anna. I myself do stream on this channel, my YouTube channel, mostly on the weekdays. But towards the end, we'll go over all that stuff again for our content of what we do. But let's go ahead and hop into this. So there was an episode that we did record. That was the last episode of David, of when the body of Celeste was found in a vehicle, a Tesla. This was back in September of 2025. So Celeste was last known to be alive on April 23rd, 2025. She was reported missing between, I believe, February 2024 up to April 2024. The final So yeah, between February and April 2024, culminating in a final missing person report to police on April 5th of that year. So my understanding was that Celeste ran away from home from her family, and she was with David the whole time. I saw some stuff that of when she passed. That's when David released his album. And I forgot what album, what it was, and all that. Um, his music basically, it was music videos and his music, both had like signs of Celeste, and like I don't know if you guys had saw that, like that was some crazy stuff. Like there's a music video of like her body, or of a girl's body that resemble of Celeste, was like getting chopped, and people were tying that to of Celeste, of how her body was found. So like, other than that, like a lot of singers use, when they write their music and they perform their music, it kind of ties into a lot of personal life. And I feel like David did a whole lot. His music was of that, of his life. Um, so I wonder what your guys' thoughts about that.
Well, didn't he have a song called Celeste?
I think it was unreleased, but people found it.
Unreleased?
Yeah, I believe it was unreleased, or it was supposed something like
But
that.
even like that is like really telling. Like I don't understand why, I mean I do. I mean I don't, but at the same time like I don't get why people have like do certain things. And like we obviously have to be like alleged and it sucks cuz like I mean all signs point to him, but he is technically still innocent in the eyes of the law. But like I don't get why people do things and then like tell on themselves right after. Like, are you just are you just trying to get caught? Like, I don't know, people are stupid. But
Yeah, I'd say with that too. I mean, I think it's the first time, and I'm sure there's plenty of other cases like this. I'm just kind of going off of just memory of anything,
Mhm.
really, with especially a high profile case like this. I've never seen somebody just blatantly just, I guess, sort of admit that they did something and then try to backtrack and be like, "Oh no, like I didn't do anything. I'm innocent." But then it's like just blatantly saying like, "Yeah, no, like I did. I'm killing people in songs and is around and hanging out with me." And they then, and I don't blame just him. I blame those other people that knew about her hanging out with the guy too. All of it could have been easily prevented, right? And they all let her hang out with them, and they thought it was fine, whatever. And yeah, it's just, it's very strange that he found some type of art in it, and he thought it was just something cool and edgy to, yeah, I guess just insinuate that you know are gonna kill somebody, but then you end up doing it like anyways. And there's no way it's a coincidence that this girl was missing, and then she ends up in obviously the trunk, whatever, of his own car, and then, and we'll get into this part, I would assume, pretty quickly, but even the injuries themselves outside of, you know, how the body was found, the specific injuries that they were talking about, what was like found on her was very weird.
Oh,
Very weird.
the autopsy
Yeah.
report is
Yeah,
crazy.
dude.
It's so like, oh man. So the autopsy report showed like stab wounds, and
Mhm.
that music video kind of shown almost the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, and then
I saw that too. The correlation or the what's the word? Like the resemblance.
Mhm.
Sorry.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, it was all similar, from the autopsy and then from the music video. And I think, going over like the with his attorneys, I think they asked and or is requiring of them to show more of evidence of what they have on David. Um, so I was reading, um, that he did pleaded guilty. Or not, sorry, not guilty. Sorry, my bad. And I think that's basically what's going to put them to trial, because I was reading that on CNN's on website, which is no, it's kind of irritates me. So there's one going about like how the police department of LA County, the DA, like I get how they need to get their evidence and everything just to charge David, right? And David was charged with a whole lot when they finally got cuffed and brought in. See if I can find it what he's being charged with. How do I hear? Here we go. So charges against Davis include continuous sexual abuse of a minor, murder for financial gain, murder to prevent testimony, murder by lying in wait, use of a deadly weapon, I can butcher this word, mutilation of human remains. So, deadly weapon. So like stab wounds. I don't know what he used, but I know, or I heard that he has pictures of the possible weapon in his phone. And then I think they found a chainsaw, and then also at his rental home he had what you call, almost like when you burn things.
An incinerator?
Yes, that yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's found. So it's crazy like how he's saying, well, I'm plead not guilty, and then like trying to say like he's innocent. It was crazy though, going back to the beginning of all this of last year. He was working with um LAPD and the detectives are like, hey, I'll work with you guys. My car was stolen, or I don't think he reported it was stolen. He's like that, I don't know what happened. I was on tour, this and that. So he was trying to work with the police department, and I'm like, damn, like this whole time, like, falls back on him, and like the police like was not paying attention to the internet. The internet, we basically, all of us on the internet already proved that it was him. There were so many signs of that. So like that's why I was kind of irritated. I'm like, why did it take so long for the DA's like, hey, let's go ahead, let's take him in because we have enough proof for this. I don't know if they were trying to get more evidence on him so they can charge him for a lot more. Dude has, or they have 40 terabytes of evidence on David, and like I don't know, like what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like his charges, internet basically proving the case, and then the whole department of how they handled this situation.
Yeah, I'd say just from my point of view, it's like what I was saying a little bit earlier. At the time of when the body was found, there was still some like there was something in me where I was like thinking, oh, maybe like I don't know, like I hope he wouldn't be a monster and do something like that. But obviously, just the initial discovery of the body, it did not look good when it's in a car registered to you. It made no sense, especially when people were, pinpointing everything beforehand of him and this girl, whatever. Um, but jump to now, obviously, when we have all these charges, I mean, I feel like a lot of the assumptions that we had, like, oh, this guy definitely did all these things, I think that's pretty, validated right now, obviously. But like Anna was just saying, he is technically innocent in the eyes of the law right now because he has to be officially sentenced with something before it's official. Um, but yeah, obviously it's not looking good for the guy at all. Especially with the 40 terabytes of evidence thing, like I can't even imagine what people are looking at on those things, those detectives and whatnot. It has to be just terrible things, and just the abuse material that's on there as well, disgusting. That's you're not going to get away with anything just on that regard, right? You have some stuff like that on you, you're done for. But um, I hope with all those charges that they presented to him, I I hope he gets the worst possible sentence imaginable. And he would deserve it at that point if they, validate everything officially and sentence him to something. And it
Mm,
just goes to show, like, no matter how famous you are, there's still disgusting people out there, and it's sad to
yeah.
listen to.
Oh yeah. It's crazy because it could be like the your favorite artist that you look up to, you could say like R.
Yeah.
Kelly, look what stuff he did, and all that. But you know, his charges,
Hmm.
the the big penalty that they want to put on him, California has not done that. It's
Yeah.
been like 20
Hmm.
years. Um,
Hmm.
so and it's kind of crazy how DOJ say, "Hey, let's bring back the firing squad." That's some
Yeah.
crazy timing, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I guess so. He's innocent until proven guilty. I guess that is the thing. It just sucks that the length of this investigation has going, um, to where like it was his car, it found a body, and how I had to look at it as like, well, dude never reported missing, and it's a Tesla, and like,
Yeah.
and I guess at that time, with Teslas, if I'm not mistaken, you can see the cameras on the car.
Hmm.
But I think I was told like you have to have a subscription for it anyways, and then if it's not connected to anything, you won't be able to go back and look back any footage. So that was that. Um, and I know they raided his house before. I think like 2-3 months after. I think before the new year they raided his house. And I'm like, man,
Hmm.
hopefully they found. I don't think they even said they found anything, or no, they took some computers from his home, some laptops. So
That's right.
maybe
Hmm.
that's where the 40 terabyte came from, or they got from his computer, um, and then yeah, no, like I said, going back, I guess so, proven innocent or innocent until proven guilty. But it just sucks, man. It sucks seeing that and hearing that a little girl won't get to live her life, and how she was basically um just manipulated by the dude. Yeah, Anna, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Well, you guys were saying like it sucks how it took so long, but at the same time, like even if it did take that long, like he didn't really he can't really go anywhere. Like, and I know in a lot of cases, like this process will take a while, and then their suspect will get away or like they'll do whatever. But I think like the media, okay, well, the media really sucks in like something like this because they spew all sorts of stupid shit and like they just want to get like the news out first. They just want to be the first one to say this so they can get all of the like the media attention on
Mm-hmm.
them. But I also think that maybe the media helped and it can help in cases like this because like there's so much pressure on him, on David, to like I don't know, to want to say something and to want to be like honest and stuff. And I know that a lot of people are like, "Oh, he got an attorney, he must be like guilty." I mean, that's a horrible like mindset to have because even if you are innocent, like having an attorney is always like the right choice. Like you
But
should
you have
never
the rights for attorney though, right? No matter what. Yeah. So
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah. So
and everyone's always like, "Oh my gosh, like you got an attorney, like you obviously have something to hide." Like, no, you have constitutional right to have an attorney. Like,
yeah.
it's always good to have one.
So okay, so my thing is, oh my god, I lost train of thought. Hold up. Oh my god. I was about to say it and then it just disappeared. Um, he was working with the police department though. That was the kind of like the fishy thing about it. And then prior to all of this, wasn't the dude on tour
Yeah.
when they?
Yeah, when it first started going on, I think like he did a
Yeah,
couple of shows, if I'm not wrong, when it's like, oh, this was discovered, and he did a
Yeah.
couple shows, and then he just ends up canceling it once it
When they
was
identified
really
the
popping
body,
off.
canceled the tour.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So like I was like, oh hey, there's a body. Your car was found in an impound, and there was a body in it. He said, "Oh, cool." And then I think it was at Seattle. He was in Seattle having his doing his concert, passing out Labubus from my memory. I
Yep.
think so. And that's
Mhm.
I'm like, aren't you stressed? Like your car was found in an impound, or yeah, it was found because it linked to you, and then there was a body before they identified the body. Like, are you like not like worried at all? You're just over here, just I'm gonna go continue, get my money, and pass out.
Yeah, that's another weird thing too. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, like, he didn't cancel the tour until her body was like identified. You
Uh
think
huh.
that he would cancel the tour once there was a body found in his vehicle? And like reporting his vehicle stolen, I don't think should really be like pulled apart because he was away. I mean, okay, well,
We'll get to that.
if okay,
I have some
okay,
theories about that
okay.
of that situation. So before we get to that, what I want to discuss about is this his Discord, um some of his friends, and then the family of him, of his
Mm.
family. With Celeste's family, we'll start off with that with Celeste's family. So
Yeah.
it was reported that she ran away, right? So there was probably some issues going on. I don't want to diss the parents, um, because as a teenager, as growing up, we can, as teenagers, we could like say like, oh, well, I hate you, mom, I hate you, dad, because your parents are trying to be very well with you. They're trying to like, hey, like I'm being hard on you because of what we experienced. So I think that was the situation for me. That's what I'm assuming is that she didn't have, or she was going through that teenage phase of like, well, I want to do whatever I want. You can't tell me what to do, blah blah blah. And then parents like, well, we brought you into this world. You have to obey our rules and stuff. And going tying into Discord, um there was a lot of screenshots of like him looking for her. I think I can't remember who hit up who first. It was either him or Celeste. But I know David was like saying, "Hey, where's Celeste?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm right here." And then that conversation, and I think this dates back to when she was 11 or 12. So that was probably 2022, probably like a little after COVID. Um, and that's when they start getting kind of close. And then his mods, like bro, like if you knew he was talking to a minor, why not report it? So this
Yep.
whole situation, I think they should be spoken to as well. Once this like goes to trial, once this starts, getting picked up more, they need to talk to people that knew of the situation. So Discord, for
Mhm.
number one thing, there's a lot of shit that's on Discord that they could probably get, and they probably do already have, because I think Discord can go back to any files that was either deleted or it's on, private or whatever. And then a lot of his streaming friends, you know,
Yep.
like
Yeah, you would be oh, sorry, I
no,
didn't
no, go ahead. No, it's fine. Go ahead. It's fine.
you would be surprised with how much they can actually pull because like I've seen it like at my job. I'll get like cases that involve like child sex crimes and stuff. Well, I'll see them and I'll read through like the probable cause affidavit, um, which is like a sworn statement giving as to why they felt like they could make an arrest. And like you, it's amazing how much like is actually saved because you'll see like the username, the IP address, and like the messages and stuff. Like they can definitely pull all of that, and they definitely will. And I'm. Did you guys ever join his Discord? Because I did. I joined the Discord just for like a couple minutes just to like see. The whole server was like like on lock, like no one could speak in it, and I was honestly just joining to see that statement that one of the mods put out, being like we didn't know, pretty much. I think that's what I
Mhm.
said. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I did join to look at that message that I saw being posted online because I wanted to see it for my own eyes,
Oh yeah, they made a
and it was
statement, didn't
there.
they? Wasn't there a statement? I think there was a
Yeah,
statement
like
from the
one of the
mods
mods
team. Yeah.
posted it. Yeah.
Well, so I think I saw something where there was a mod that was very suspicious and he was calling them out, and the mod team pushed that mod out from the server. And the dude,
Mm.
I think it was a mod or maybe just a member of,
That's typical for like
yeah.
you talk against someone and you're gonna get
Mhm.
kicked out.
So going
Which I
on,
know that person's just rolling right now, being like, "I fucking told you so."
yep.
Yeah.
You're like, you can't get me. I knew it.
Right? They had the last
Mhm.
laugh.
So so of like his streaming friends, so I know there was a stream where there was a female that looked like her, was wearing the
Mhm.
hoodie, and oh, it's even tying into that. There's now photos of his and SZA's concert, um, where she was there. So like, I wonder how he like hid all this. Like that's like that's even more weird. Like it's
Yep.
so crazy. Like, oh my goodness, dude. Like every new detail that I hear, it just pisses me off more and more. And it's like how he hid this from people is just, it was just super crazy. And then all like people around him, like if they knew, it's like, why were you so worried to report this? And then like
Yeah.
now go time with his family. I don't know if you guys saw that, but like they're like basically they're here for him, they're backing him up, he's innocent, blah blah blah. But his brother went on, there's a screenshot of his brother's
Mhm.
story of saying like, death to all pedos and all that. So shows his brother's like basically not happy with his with David, and that's pretty, pretty base, and I like that. But it just reading about his family, I'm like, and I get it, if you're parents of him, like you don't want to believe that he's guilty. But just to back him up is just crazy. But what do you guys
Yeah.
think?
I
I
mean,
think,
yeah.
like for me personally, here's my biggest issue with this is, and it kind of ties into the other stuff I was saying earlier, right? Like, you don't think this guy could be a monster and do all these things, and
Mm,
how was he able to be free and just just live normal life like nothing happened, yada yada. I understand like the legal aspect of it. He kind of has to just go day by day, yada yada. A couple things with it is, one, I do truly think, one, if he did do something like that, he just thought he was going to get away with it.
mm,
Full heartedly, I believe he thought he was going to get away with it. He didn't think anyone was going to catch on to it, whatever.
mm,
But two, I don't think he is some evil genius mastermind that could pull anything off like that, right? Nobody can, obviously, because if you're doing something as heinous as that, you're going to be caught, and that's going to be that. But I have to think other people were involved in it. I doubt for 1 second it was just him. I doubt for 1 second that all these people around him didn't know about this and whatever. They were covering it up for him. Whoever was involved with this is going to be brought to the light as well. I have an issue with the family aspect of it. I get that's your family and you have to show some type of support in some way. It'll be a lot different tune once he's sentenced to something. And if they still try to support him, then I'd be like, hey, dude, like, what are you talking about? If they truly don't think he did anything or don't know anything about that situation, I can understand in an aspect of family and love that you're like, no way my family member did this. Another issue I don't have an issue like with his family at the moment. I have more of an issue with the girl's family. Why was she running off and you guys were barely reporting anything about, missing person case, that one little time period, whatever. But she was hanging out with the dude for a while. And from what it sounded like, just reading into some of those things about her being gone a lot of the time, or even the school teacher saying something, which I'm sure you guys have seen that video of him blatantly saying this guy would even come to the school and pick her up, and I've seen them together, and this and that. How did you guys not think anything was wrong with that? Like, why is that going on? Why is the family so quiet about it right now? The whole
Yeah,
time,
I've
not
seen
even with
I've
this
seen a
body
lot
being
about that.
discovered, but like
Right.
Why were they quiet the entire time? Like, why weren't you screaming immediately? Hey, my daughter is very well underage. Why is she missing and hanging out with some older dude? Why wasn't that a big deal at the time to prevent some of this? And I'm not saying they're to blame for her death,
Right,
obviously,
right.
because it's not on them. But there could have been so many safety measures and so many steps to prevent something like that possibly happening. So I don't understand any of that stuff. And I hope with this whole investigation, they could dive deeper into all parties involved that might not look like they're involved. And I want to see something of substantial evidence to be like, this is what happened.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that because I've seen a lot of people online being like, why are you like, yeah, go victim blame like the child's mother. I mean, like, where were they? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be like that person, but like genuinely, like you knew that your daughter would run away, which is like fine, like teenagers do that. But I also saw somewhere that they like knew that she was hanging out with him.
Yeah.
Like, did you know
So
that she's hanging out with someone like she's like what? She was 14 and he's like it was of age, like I don't know.
so I
It's
think
hard to really understand the perspective and the situation. So
I
I
want
just try not to like do that.
I want to say like there might be 7 years apart. If I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. So I think he was like 17 when they started talking, and she was like 11 or 12.
Yeah,
That's
that's still
fine.
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still, I don't even care if that's technically legal.
yeah.
That's
Oh, I
super
know.
weird.
It's yeah, it's
Yeah.
still weird. So
Yeah.
I think from what I was reading from the past is that the family knew of a person named David, but they didn't know that David was the singer. So that's
That
like
Mm.
makes sense.
that's how they were kind of like, wasn't too sure. But like I think the brother of Celeste was more suspicious on everything.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Carl, if I'm not mistaken, I think the brother said something of the fact that like he knows of someone that took out someone. And it ties in with
Mhm.
David. I don't have that in notes, but I remember reading something about that. But
But
so
like wouldn't you want to know who your children are hanging out with? Like
right, yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't go over to someone's house without my parents wanting their driver's license, their address, their parents' numbers. Like my parents don't mess around. Like I don't know. And I'm not even again, I'm not trying to come at them for being bad parents or being any type of parent because I'm not a parent myself. So I genuinely don't know how I would like be in that situation. But just I don't know. It's a little sus.
yeah.
Yeah, it's their responsibility. You got to think if you're a parent, your responsibility is look after your child until they're 18. Then at that point, if they want to go out and do whatever, you can't stop them, right? And I'm sure there's so much more story to tell between that of like what was going on because obviously you can't prevent everything from not happening, right? If a kid sneaks out the window in the middle of the night, it's happened, plenty of teenagers do shit like that, whatever. Um, but yeah, I want to know all those details. And like Anna was saying too, it's not like we're trying to come at it in a way of they're terrible parents. How do they do this? Because I'm sure there's some more info being involved there, but it definitely could just be stated that there could have been some measures prevented there to not have her sneaking out and doing some shit like that. Whatever, talk to the cops way more or something, whatever. But ultimately, that man was involved with something very disgusting and disturbing. And, I'm glad the focus is on that. And I hope he gets prosecuted to the fullest. But just to try to be subjective is kind of where I'm coming at and just trying to understand everything around it because it's very complicated as much as it looks like it's surface level. And it's like, oh, people figured it out. It does seem like that in some sense, but there's probably a lot more that we don't know.
So going, not to change the subject or change the where we're at right now. Um, so of the people that probably knew about it or knew the situation, that I think we spoke about from our last conversation, his bodyguard named Mark Morales. Um, I was reading something about how he could be linked to the murder of Celeste. Um, I read on the internet, the Twitter, how we all investigated this. There was some reports, people were reporting that he was kind of jealous um, of David and Celeste, and that I think he had feelings for her, uh, which is like disgusting. Like, you know, it's if he did, like, I hope they speak to him, bring him in, and if that's tying into the situation, they need to speak to them right away, um, or whatever they need to do once the trial goes. So yeah, so Mark Morales was the bodyguard for David. Um, so let's go on to the part where um how this theories of what happened. Um, so her body, the autopsy report, there was a finger that had a tattoo of his name. It's gone. It's missing. What they found at his rental home, how her body was found. Basically, not basically. I'm trying to read this carefully, 'cause it's sad, and I want to respect her family and her soul. Um, so the body of Celeste was found September 2025. She was reported missing between February and April. Okay. So the rumor is that April, the day before his album was released, she was unalive. And how her body was found was pretty much they couldn't find, or they couldn't identify the body because of how decomposed it was, right? Or how it looked and how it was dismembered. So it was kind of hard to identify who the person was. Um, and the stuff they found at his home and the house found the car. So this is my thought and my theory. How I'm looking at it is that there's multiple people involved. If Mark's name is getting if it does get brought up in this case, I think when David went on tour, he asked someone, "Hey, we need to get rid of any type of evidence because there's videos of him, which is sickening, wearing her pajamas, wearing cleaning her shoes. And I believe when the body was found, she had pajamas on, or the body had pajamas on, and it was similar to the pajamas that he wore in one of his Instagram reels or TikTok videos. Okay, so already this guy is, well, not already. It's just proving more how he's fucked up in the head. Um, so he probably asked someone, "Hey, we need to get rid of the body, any evidence, burn it, whatever." That's probably why they found that object in his home, because maybe the goal was to burn, right? Um, and as they were probably waiting for the call from David, they probably either moved the car away, and because the smell of the body was probably coming out of the car, but someone reported a car out in the street that's been there for days, right? I have a theory that maybe someone of his group wanted to get David, and that probably hasn't came out yet. One of David's friends that they caught, I don't know the name. I'll ask you guys thoughts while I look up the name. But said that I can't say much, but I can help you with David or something like that in that line. Um, and I think this was like months later. That's when they got David. So what are your guys? What are your guys' theories? What are your guys' thoughts of what I said? And all of that.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar to what you were saying. There's multiple people involved. Um, it's like my thing is too with the whole car thing, right? how was there no like security footage or anything down that block? Anything like nothing like of that instance happening. Like who took the car? Like did the car get like did was it like a tow truck or something that took the car into like an impound place or
Yeah, yeah,
something? Like
I think so. Yeah.
okay, so that makes sense. Um, but then why leave the car there in the first place? Like like you were saying, like maybe it was to possibly burn the body, whatever. Why wouldn't they just do it then and there instead of wait multiple days? I don't know if they were like on a time schedule or something. It just seems kind of ridiculous that they'll just leave the car outside, which obviously they did. So then it's like, well, what's the thought process there? That seems kind of strange. Um, and outside of that too, like someone to go after him, is it for the case of like they discovered something, they're like, "Oh, this guy's terrible," or are they just trying to cover their own ass? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Are they just trying to be like, "Hey, I'll tell you whatever you want. I just don't want to be involved. I don't want to be charged with anything."
So that person's name is named Neo Langston. He's I guess a popular Twitch streamer. Um,
Mm,
I can read what I found real quick. Langston was arrested in Montana on January 22nd, 2026, for failing to appear as a witness before a grand jury in Los Angeles investigating the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas. Another person I didn't know about this that they questioned. Robert Morganroth. He managed David's label. Uh, and as the head person for the touring company. He was questioned in December of 2025 regarding why he did not call the police earlier, according to reports. So two people that already questioned. Um, so Neo, from my understanding, like they were asking, Diesel says like while initially considered a material witness regarding the timeline of Reeves' disappearance, reports indicate that the investigators later determined Langston was not in the car during a mysterious late night drive taken by David months before the body was discovered. I forgot about that. Um, they so I guess David drove away somewhere far away for the night, and people were thinking like that's probably when it happened. And I guess it was months before reporting of her disappearance. And I think it was I'm trying to remember where it was. It was like in a cabin or some sort. I can't remember. I think that's why they questioned him. But I think he knows. So they're probably I'm thinking maybe they're like, hey, we're probably gonna bring him in again to be questioned because if that's his friend, then he should know the details. Like that's
mhm.
one friend, right? Basically, okay, if you knew who she was, if she was a minor, why didn't you report it? Um, so it's just it's just weird. Anna, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I definitely think that we'll find out. Well, they'll find. Oh my God, find out way more over the next couple months, and that's the reason why like these things take forever. Like I just had a case. Well, there was a case they were charged in 2024, and they just went to trial a couple days ago, and like they're that just goes to show like why these things take so long. And I think that's another reason why I don't really have much of an opinion yet, because I really want to see like all of what they have. Like, because I just think it's so weird that they were able to kind of get an estimation of her of the day that she died from like a body that was found like months later. Like I don't know. I'll need to like see like everything. I'm just so curious. I don't think that
Yeah.
really answers your question, but
No, no, you're good.
like but in that process of like discovery, which is what it's called, I definitely think that they will find a way to bring other people that may have been involved and may have some sort of like um what's the word? May have something to do with the case, but not directly. Like that's definitely a possibility. And um I've been watching a couple like true crime podcasters talk about it, and a lot of them are saying like it could be the case where they like other people that are involved will cooperate with the state in order to, kind of evade like being charged with anything, and that could very well be a possibility. So even if like that person, you said his name is Neo,
Neo,
even if
yeah.
Neo is somehow responsible for something, he could very well testify against David and get away scot-free. It's kind of just like, I don't know. That's like kind of the problem with the criminal justice system, but it's like a constitutional right,
Yeah.
basically.
Understandable. Understandable.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, oh, you guys think, Chris?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Um, yeah. So with all that, I'm just glad now. For me, my point of view, I'm glad that he is locked up right now. I think he's like basically PC'd up. I think he has his own cell. They're watching him. There's really nothing in his. I don't think there's no TV. I think he has like a time where like, hey, if you want to make a phone call, it has to be the time when you're taking a shower. That time and some other stuff. So I think they moved him to a different place of prison. So yeah, like I said, I think he's just now just PC'd up. Um, so with this charges, I hope there's justice. It's just sad, of Celeste, um, manipulated by him, um, controlled by him, and to kind of add more toward this, I was reading that there possibility he was trying to report him um of some sort of like, I think she wanted to go home and he was like saying no, you can't go home, and then of basically saying, well, if I can't go home, I'm gonna report you. And that's probably started the whole thing, the whole situation of, that was the motive. And also with the motives like, well, I don't want to be known as a pedo, so if they can't find her and know her that she's been talking to me, I'll just, I'm alive and all that. So if that is the case, you ruin your career more. you it's like,
Yeah, exactly.
if that was your motive and that was the reason behind of unaliving her, it's just crazy. Like, no matter what of you being known as a pedo, now you're known as a pedo and a murderer of a
Mhm.
child, and that's your motive. That's just sickening. It's just crazy. And to add more to this, there's CP found in part of that 40 terabyte, and a lot of people are under the assumption that there's more people or more
Mhm.
children involved than just Celeste. I guess there was someone. I didn't look into it because I was like, I'm disgusted of this case. But I guess someone came out that that they were also a victim of him. Um, so as time goes by, I've said the next prelim of his hearing is scheduled May 1st. So Friday, as we're recording, uh, it's gonna be Friday, May 1st. Maybe there's gonna be more details as the week goes by of stuff going out. But I think there's like no cameras involved while this case is going on. So I guess it's just more hearsay, or if people say, hey, this is what the investigators are putting out, this and that. We'll hear more, but 40 terabytes is crazy of
Absolutely.
whatever evidence they have on him. That's a lot. Like, I think what PS5 has like 5 terabytes or something like that. Like, um,
Oh, dude, yeah, it's like a
so
terabyte of memory of just like his
yeah,
system and stuff. And it's like, dude, a terabyte's crazy, but then you got 40 terabytes of things. Like, what exactly is there, right?
yeah, Yeah,
It's like,
like
holy shit, I can't even imagine. Like, there has to be some ridiculous things on there for them to be like, to even say that one, they have to have just ridiculous evidence on the guy. And maybe those details come out in the future. Maybe it's probably just better that we just don't know about it. I don't know. But I think it would be beneficial to tell people like what exactly was going on
yeah,
that hard drive, because
yeah.
there's got to be gnarly stuff on there, and that's just terrible, dude.
I like if it's very disturbing, at least don't give us the full details. It's like, hey,
No,
what
yeah,
what you guys were thinking is what's in the terabyte, what's in what of what we have. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but let's go on final thoughts, guys. Final thoughts. Anna, what's your final thoughts in the situation? I mean, like, this is basically a recap of what we spoke about at the beginning. I know you were involved; it was hype, but it's a recap and the kind of, excuse me, adding more details of what is heard, and then theories of the situation, because we don't have that crazy mind of what he has. Um, he's just on a whole spectrum of straight weirdness, straight of being a disgusting human being, POS. I do hope justice is served, even if there's more people involved and that he didn't do it. It's like how can you say, it's like a Tookie Williams situation where, you know, rest the souls of people that were unalive of what Tookie wanted. But like I think he was I forget what you call it. It was like you were the person behind. You didn't murder people, but
The
you,
mastermind.
yeah, you're the mastermind behind it. So you're gonna get more of the charges. So if that's the situation, then it's whatever that is, right? So what was your thoughts?
I mean, like I said, I'm just interested to see how the prosecutors are gonna be able to connect all the dots and connect David to all of this stuff because, like, if she, well, she obviously did die, but if she did die in April and she was in that car from April to September, like I just don't understand what all happened in between that time. Like, did he not know his car? Because I can understand, like, if you're out of town and you're on tour, like, you don't know where your car is. Like, you're obviously not going to be like, oh, my car is missing. But, like, if he had started, I doubt he was on his tour in April. Like, he's got to be like, where's my car? I don't know. I guess I just can't get over the fact that the medical examiners have placed her death in April and she was found in September. I just can't get over that yet. But I don't know. He is a piece of shit and a kitty
Curls,
diddler. So yeah.
Curls, your final thoughts?
Yeah, overall, it's been a very strange ride to kind of see everything play out. Um, it's terrible that this artist had some type of, he was just starting his career out essentially, right? I mean, there was so much promise to what he could have done musically,
Mm-hmm.
but obviously, when you do terrible things like this, or even alleged terrible things, it's, you ruin your entire life. And it's not just your life, you're putting a damper on your family name. No one's going to be wanting to be involved with anyone like around you in any type of sense. So you're not just affecting your family, you, obviously the worst case was ruining her family and how they have to deal with this now. And with everything that I said earlier, hopefully that side of things, like, they could connect everything, like Anna was saying, connect the dots to this whole journey to get to this point, because it's through his music, his actions. There's something very strange there, and how everything ultimately ended up. There's so much more that has to be discovered and needs to be talked about, and hopefully they can be pretty quick about it in some sense. But obviously, since it took this long to even arrest the guy, who knows how long it's going to be before they actually sentence him to anything, or who knows what even happens. I don't know, like, if that's even going to take place, or you know, he's confined to just by himself and all these things. And I know in that case, some people like that are cowards and they want to take the coward way out and not face justice for their own actions. So, whatever, you know, direction this goes in, just we need to know the truth in some capacity, and hopefully we find it out pretty quick. And say if he did do this, he deserves to get the worst possible sentence. Those penalties and whatnot, that hasn't happened in California for so many years. I I think in this situation, if it's proven that he did those things, he deserves that. And I know that's terrible to say about another human being, but I don't see him as a human being if he did these things, because no regular human being would ever think of doing half of these things that he's done and what they have evidence on. So just justice for her and give her family some type of peace of mind is all I could really ask for at the end of the day. And yeah, it's just insane.
Hmm.
I definitely think that if the capital punishment is on the table, that like if they decide that this is what's going to happen if he gets convicted, I definitely think that he'll take a plea to avoid
Oh
capital
yeah,
punishment. Which, I mean, I mean, if you're in that situation, you absolutely should take a plea to avoid that. But at the same time, that's a coward move to just be like, okay, I'll take the easy way out just so, cause I killed this person and now the state wants to kill me, but I don't want to die, so I'm just gonna plead that I killed this person just so I don't have to. And I'm also very interested to know the conversations he's having with his attorney, because he can't
yeah,
lie to his attorney. So he has to be like, oh yeah, I killed her. Or like he has to tell his attorney the truth. Like, so I'm very curious
Well,
to know.
so let's say if he is telling or he's speaking truth to his attorneys, um, the way I'm looking at this is like, okay, so the attorneys know, but why they're asking for more evidence of what they have? Um, maybe he is lying or something. I don't know. It's just my brain was thinking that like I've read that they asked like, hey, we need more. What you guys have, please show us what you guys have, and they asked to extend. So well maybe we'll know more on May 1st when we'll know more.
But that's also like any defendant's right too, to for the prosecutor to, well, so I am required by like state statute or state law, state whatever, I'm required to hand anything that I have over to the defense. So, because that's their right. And so,
Mhm.
even if he is telling the truth to his attorney, like they still have that right to see everything. And I think that his defense counsel probably wants to see everything that the state has that they're going to use against him to form their defense. Which
yeah,
I think this thing's going to go to trial. I do. I mean, unless they decide capital punishment's on the table, I think they're going to, if he hasn't pled, well, I don't know, because I thought the Brian Koberger trial was, or I thought that was going to go to trial, and then he decided to plead guilty. So I don't know. He could surprise David's team could surprise us and be like, "Oh, we'll just do this instead of all that." But who
Yeah.
knows?
All right. Well, that is all the time we have, guys. Thank you, girls. Thank you, Anna. For wanting to go over this. I do really appreciate that. Um, yeah. So we'll do another recap, do another review of it of this case. As more as time has gone. We'll go back. But I really did enjoy this. But that is it, guys. That is our latest episode of the Investigamers. I'm D4vd's. So I am a streamer on here on YouTube. I do other content, do food reviews, pack openings of all sorts of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. So if you guys want to look at that, I do have playlists of my VODs and playlists of videos that I have created for content for the channel. I'll put this link description of Curls for his Twitch channel, and Anna as well. But that's all we have, guys. Make sure, please, if you enjoyed this episode, Hit that like button, get the sub, and ring that notification bell. Other than that, thank you all, and we'll catch you all in the next one.